Assalamualaikum and good morning. I'm Aina Suha and 5 others group member Aida Shahira, Asmira, Nurusarah, Siti Sarah and Farah Hanim will present our assignment. For the introduction, COVID-19 is an epidemic of a dangerous disease that has become a major issue as the disease has spread around the world. In addition, COVID-19 had a huge impact on the world society as well as the environment. The spread of this disease can be reduced by adhering to the prescribed SOP as well as wearing a mask. This pandemic has made disposable masks necessary at the moment to prevent this COVID-19 infection. This has resulted in disposable masks gaining high demand in market and manufacturers marketing disposable masks in large quantities. This causes disposable masks not to be disposed of properly so as to affect the environment, such as pollution to rivers and oceans, which will pose a threat to marine life. The purpose of our group choose this topic because COVID-19 is a disease that is a current issue experienced by almost all countries in the world, including Malaysia, which is still struggling to eradicate this disease. For the framework, our assignment, we have already distributed our part fairly. We have discussed together to get the point for our part.
Background information. The continuous COVID-19 sickness has a substantial impact on human health, as well as the reach of the country's economy and daily life. Face masks are employed as major personal protective equipment to restrict the transmission of the illness, PPE. As the COVID-19 pandemic continues to spread, the manufacture and use of face masks has increased considerably. Therefore, this extensive usage of face masks generates million tons of plastic waste to the environment in a short span of time.
Hello, hi, my name is Nur Adashara Binti Ahmad, S54863, and I will continue with limitation and delimitation for the problem statement. New pandemic COVID-19 started in 2020 and the situation created that wearing masks as a must for every human life. Following this norm, the environment becomes worse due to the existing use of disposable plastic like PPE such as masks and gloves. This had a negative impact due to the widespread use of disposable masks during the COVID-19 pandemic. Based on Sarawak 2020, millions of contaminated face masks, gloves, and material for treated COVID-19, improper disposal of face masks reaching water bodies, and one of the big issues in this study. However, this certain conduct has led to a new type of PPE pollution in the world seas and ocean. In Soko Island of Hong Kong, used face masks are reported to be found within the 100 meters straight of the beach by SEDAR 2020. Also, the 1.56 billion face masks that will likely enter our ocean in 2020 are just the tip of the iceberg.
So hi, I'm Nasmira, and my part for this video is concerns and challenges. Okay, for the first concerns and challenges is a lack of public awareness of the damage of removing face masks everywhere. There is a lack of awareness from the community about the danger of removing face masks in the area without knowing the correct method. Okay, because of it can cause a germ to spread further and affect the health of society. Okay, for the next of the concerns and challenges is less government to provide appropriate garbage bin to remove face masks in public areas and also hospital. This is the one challenges that must be faced because of today there are still no dedicated bins available. The government is supposed to provide garbage which can that are only specifically for removing face masks and not mixed with other garbage that aim to reduce the risk of spread COVID-19. This is for the forgive the benefit for us. And okay, that's all for the contrasts and challenges. Thank you.
For the analytical report, the figure 1 highlights the essential premise that Sri Lanka, India, Australia, Singapore, United Kingdom, and the USA are generating mass trash per week. Most of these nations had been locked down at the first COVID-19 crisis summit. Therefore, public and private transit was significantly less walking might have impact the lower percentage per week of mass use. Therefore, if the worldwide use of mass with the entire population is considered, it is predicted to peak and eventually contribute enormous plastic waste to the environment. The quantity of polypropylene in the surgical mask and N95 mask respectively was noted in the research by Akbar 2020. The maximum quantity of polypropylene created by different nations per week was computed on the basis on the production of mass waste every week.
For the SWOT analysis, the strength is for the fight COVID-19. The mask is the primary protection to reduce the dangers of COVID-19 transmission, and the weakness is humanity and environment. Failure to take this critical issue seriously may lead to the discharge from landfill and marine environment of a significant amount of microplastic, mostly ending and is so hurting the wildlife and flora population. Next, the opportunity for effective education. The COVID-19 outbreak has increased public understanding of disease prevention and control, as well as overall health education. The threat is to marine life, which from mass is often carrier rivers, the contaminators and the marine environment with plastic and can affect some niche marine fauna.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I am Nurul Sarah binti Bahir Zaman and I will continue presenting the problem solution and recommendation. The first possible solution for the impact induced by extensive use of disposable masks during COVID-19 pandemic is by following the 4 steps on how to dispose of the mask properly just by taking less than 30 seconds. It started by removing the face mask from face, hold it in half with nose and nose facing, fold in half again and twist the rope, and lastly, fasten the rope and throw in the trash provided. However, there are some recommendations that we can look through. For instance, by holding a campaign or strict law enforcement in combating the various environmental crimes that occurred during the COVID-19 pandemic. Besides, it is by the imposition of environmental remediation costs to the manufacturing sector. Many individuals like to throw face masks in the drain and everywhere that causes the drain to flow to the manufacturing sector. Therefore, the manufacturing sector should maintain the factory environmental to remain in a clean condition that ensures the harmony of the local people. The last recommendation is by not giving up to spread the awareness that the danger of COVID-19 pandemic is still around us. During the outbreak, people doing physical activity are not well recommended to wear a mask, but they still need to keep their distance from others. As was mentioned by WHO, masks should not be worn during high-intensity physical exercise since they might make it difficult to breathe comfortably instead of maintaining a physical distance of at least 1 meter and provide enough ventilation when exercising. Wearing a mask also will decrease the airflow that makes it difficult to breathe and probably it will impact someone's performance or pace.
Hi, I'm Asmira, and for the conclusion and discussion is the environmental impact induced by excessive use of disposable masks during COVID-19 pandemic is giving a rather less favorable effect. There is press release stating that there is waste disposal face masks even wear with a large amount. This had a relatively bad impact and can make a virus spread in the community. Besides that, the government should consider about other alternatives to protect the environment, even though the country is currently struggling to fight the COVID-19 pandemic. That's all, and thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I am Nurul Sarah binti Bahir Zaman. There are a total of 5 questions in Q&A sections and I am the starter for answering question number 1 and the next question will be answered by my group members. Question 1. How do you perceive the level of environmental conditions during pre- and present pandemic? In my opinion, the environment before the advent of the COVID-19 pandemic was at a critical level due to uncontrolled human activity. In terms of the oceans, there are three main issues that always threaten marine life, namely the fishery sector, the manufacturing sector, and the tourism sector. These three sectors are indeed the main causes that lead to environmental pollution that makes the global environment sick. However, everything has a change when COVID-19 came to hit the world, and this changed the way of all human beings' life as a whole. Therefore, it can be concluded that there are good and bad occurrences, and one of the benefits is the sea can be restored and its habitat control. Thank you.
I will continue for question 2. In my opinion, the answer of question 2 is the mass media plays an important role in educating the public to use the disposed mask wisely. This is said to be so because people now spend more time watching television and watching the latest news stories online. The mass media can explain about the correct way to dispose of masks so that there is no dumping of masks everywhere. At the same time, society will also see things like this. In addition, the authorities can also remind the public that fines will be imposed on individuals who throw masks everywhere. This will indirectly cause the community to be more careful and responsible in throwing the mask in the right place.
For the question which marine life have impact the most from the mass pollution is the answer is the turtles, whales, and the seabird. This is because face masks can be regarded as a plastic pollution. Animals such as turtles, whales, and the seabirds are the among marine life, and animals are reported to die due to plastic pollution. And we found that one of study said that plastic pollution kills about 100,000 marine mammals and turtles, more than 1 million seabirds, and even more numbers of fish, invertebrate, and other animals each year. This also have a negative impact on the fisheries and tourism industry, and the cost of the global economy is estimated at more than 13 billion USD per year. This is because animals assume that the mass and the plastic waste is a food and end up dying of choking.
My answer for question 4 is clinical waste disposal of personal protective equipment (PPE) such as gloves, clothing, mouth guards, and mouth joints increased in almost the entire world, especially affected in Europe since the outbreak this pandemic. In fact, there is still new pollution typical of the ocean. If animals mistake plastic for food, which is a common occurrence, plastic can fill the stomach, reducing food intake, causing the animal to starve and die. Marine plastics absorb toxins and organic pollutants, which mean the contaminant particles sticks to the plastic surface as a toxic film. As a result, marine animals that eat plastic can also be poisoned. This can kill them directly or weaken them, making them more vulnerable to other threats. Ingested plastic can impair reproduction, growth, and young development.
The answer for question 5. The COVID-19 has had a number of unexpected impacts on the environment, certainly recycling and increasing the use of face masks around the world. It's clear that the pandemic risks eroding global prosperity and quality of life, reducing the prospect of achieving the Sustainable Development Goals. Therefore, a government needs to act now to address the growing issue mass disposal to ensure a green recovery that provides incentives sustainable development.